2024 meeting of the Parker Planning Commission to order at 7:01. Would you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call. Absent is Ruth Ann. Sitting for Ruth Ann is Angela. Absent is Ileana. Seated for Ileana is Jane. Absent is Eric Franzen. And sitting for Eric Franzen is Eric Rieger. It was convenient, Eric, it worked that way. All other members present. Are there any additions to or deletions from the agenda?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the Planning Commission meeting minutes from February 8th, 2024? No? Do we have a motion to approve?
I will motion to approve the meeting minutes
Okay.
for February 8th,
All right.
2024.
I second.
It's been moved by Jane, seconded by Leland, that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes from February 8th, 2024. I'll call the question. Nick?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Angela?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Leland?
Aye.
Chair is aye. Passes unanimously. All right, next, are there any additions or corrections to the Planning Commission meeting minutes of March 14th, 2024? No? Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes from the meeting on March 14th, 2024.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Angela, seconded by Nick, that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes from March 14th, 2024. And I'll call the question. Nick?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Angela?
Aye.
Jane?
I'll say I wasn't here, but aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Leland? Chair is aye. Passes unanimously. All right. Item number 7A is a public hearing. The Looking Glass Filing 20 Sketch and Preliminary Plans. And we will open the public hearing at 7:04. And Julia, we're all yours.
Good evening, Julia Duncan, Community Development. Good evening, Commissioners. Before you this evening is the Looking Glass. The applicant, Dreamfinders Homes, is requesting the approval of sketch preliminary plan applications for Looking Glass Filing 20, which will create 84 residential lots to be developed with attached duplex homes and 15 tracks for access and landscaping. The subject property is in the far southwest quadrant of the town, to the east of the future Chambers Road extension and to the south of the future Stroh Road extension. It will be bordered to the north by the to the west by open space tracks and a Parker water and sanitation easement, and to the east by open space and Looking Glass filing number 10. Northwest of the project is a vacant commercial lot at the intersection of the future Stroh Road and Chambers Road extensions. The subject property was originally addressed by the Town Council several years ago when the Council approved the Hess Ranch Plan Development 4th Amendment and the Looking Glass Segment 2A Sketch and Preliminary Plans that laid out Tract A1 for future residential development. The property has a total area of 16.98 acres and is currently undeveloped. The applications are for land and planning area 14 that is zoned for mixed use. The applicant plans to develop attached duplex units that are permitted as a use by right. The Hess Ranch PD zoning for PA 14 allows a maximum of 84 dwelling units. The applicant is planning to develop 84 attached duplex homes. The approval of the sketch and preliminary plans does not formally create the lots or associated improvements. Instead, the approval of the applications will allow for the applicant to execute a final plat consistent with the sketch and preliminary plans. Height, density, and setbacks for the proposed housing product are required to be consistent with the town's design standards and the PD guide, and will be reviewed during the final plat and residential design minimum review process. Parks and open space satisfying the requirements for this filing have been dedicated through previous platting processes. Additional landscape for the project is provided by landscaped common area green courts that residential units front. Benches and dog waste receptacles are provided throughout the pedestrian circulation system. A sidewalk system provides pedestrian access to each home and to these common landscape areas. So those are the blue and green lines you see in the photograph to the left. The pedestrian connectivity provides access to the adjoining 25-acre community park located adjacent and south of the development. The applicant proposes 3 acres of landscape in excess of the parks and open space required. Thank you, Jeff. The originally scheduled March 15th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting was canceled due to severe weather and rescheduled to tonight, March 28th, 2024. The Town Council item is therefore required to be rescheduled to April 15th, 2024. Staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined that the project is consistent with the master plan. The proposal provides adequate access, infrastructure, drainage facilities, and design considerations. Utilities providers have confirmed capacity and availability. All referral agency comments have been addressed or will be addressed at the time of the final plat, and the public notice requirements have been satisfied. Therefore, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve Looking Glass Filing 20 sketch and preliminary plan. This concludes staff's report. The applicant's representative is present tonight and would like to present for the commission and will be available to answer any questions you may have.
Before we get to that, questions for Julia?
I have a couple of questions, Julia. I noticed in the staff report that some of the referral comments for life and safety were marked as advisory. And I went to look at some of the documents on Track It, and I'm wanting to understand a little bit more about how that works. It looked like they had some concerns about the driveway aisles and the parking.
So that was a comment, I know the comment you're referring to, and it was a comment not related to code required parking, so not related to fire life safety, but a recommendation that perhaps based on the referral agency's past experience, the applicant could provide additional guest parking as a choice, but not one required by code.
Thank you. The drive aisle, though, is wide enough for the fire safety.
Yes, there was no, so that's why it was an advisory comment and not a denial or recommended revisions required.
Thanks.
Other questions for Julia?
I do. On Stroll Ranch, that's going to be developed, and it's supposed to be a 2 to 4 lane highway, possibly 6. Is there going to be any plan at all for a pull-out lane going on to Stroll out of the main entrance coming off out of the subdivision?
Out of this subdivision, I would have to look at the engineer's comments to, I'm not quite sure on the right-of-way improvement. Okay, so that's a right-in, right-out entry, so it's not a full movement intersection, so you can make a right into it, and when you're coming out, you would respectively be restricted to a right.
So then your other exit would be to go to Chamber Road and then go out?
I think the main access point is Spirit. There's I'll pull up the street, give me one moment.
It looks like the access is through the adjoining plat, right?
So you have an access off of Long Rider Parkway, Long Rider Street to the south that comes off of Chambers Road. And then off of Stroh, it is a just a local street access into the residential Stroh Trail.
There's also a big entrance off Filing 10.
That's the long rider? Oh, on the 10th. So on to the east of the project, there's another Filing 10, which is not shown in any of these maps. That neighborhood connects to the roadway circulation within this filing. So there's basically 3 access points one off of Stroh, two off of Stroh, and one off of Chambers that connect through the neighborhood.
Thank you.
For the right in, right out, is there acceleration and deceleration lanes, like for those? Or is it just straight onto the road itself?
I don't believe so. There was, the traffic counts, I don't think warranted an acceleration lane at that point.
And I'm sorry, I don't have the traffic impact analysis in front of me, but that's something I can definitely follow up with you on.
Okay.
Engineering would have a better, full understanding of.
Actually, if I may weigh in, I'm looking at the graphic, and it does not show an acceleration, deceleration at Stroh Trail, but it does to the Long Rider intersection that's to the east.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, then the applicant want to step forward. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, I'm Steve Allen, landscape architect with the Henry Design Group located at 1501 Wazee Street, Denver, Colorado, 80202. Thank you, Julia and Town of Parker staff for bringing our sketch and preliminary plans to public hearing. Thank you, Planning Commission, for the opportunity to present Looking Glass Filing 20. Julia, do you have the advance? Oh, thank you. Tonight I will be joined by Andrew Moyer with Dreamfinders Homes, the developer and home builder for Segment 2A and Segment 2B at Looking Glass, as well as Gary Walter, the civil engineer with EMK Consultants. This is the development plan for Looking Glass. Segment 1, shown in blue, east of Spirit Trail Boulevard, is in the final stages of construction. Segment 2A, shown in purple, west of Spirit Trail Boulevard and south of Spirit Trail Parkway, are in the last stages of final plat approvals for the single-family lots, neighborhood parks, and community park. Segment 2B, shown in red, are the planning areas along Spirit Trail Parkway and are currently on the second submittal of the sketch and preliminary plan. After final build-out, Looking Glass residents will, next slide, please. After final build-out, Looking Glass residents will have over 11 miles of trails interconnecting the homes with over 80 acres of parks and over 288 acres of dedicated open space. This will include 3 community parks shown in large green circles and 12 neighborhood parks shown with small green circles. Looking Glass Filing 20 and Segment 2A consist of 16 acres with 3 points of vehicular access. A 30 to 40-foot landscape buffer will be provided along Stroh Road to the north. The 84 lots within the Rialto at Looking Glass are typically 30 feet wide by 93 feet deep. Each home faces a shared landscape corridor and will be alley-loaded with full-depth driveways, providing access to a 2-car garage. The driveway apron, in combination with the garage, provides 4 parking spaces for each home. Additional guest parking is available on the public streets. And that would be the Duval Street that circles the interior of the property. The neighborhood will include 3 acres of landscape tracts and include 205 trees. This is Tract B, an example of common landscape tract and meandering paths through open space, and will include seating nodes and open lawns. Parks and open space are being satisfied by previously approved park and open space that are in the process of being dedicated with the final plat submittals for 2A. Segment 2A requires 21 acres of park, with 2 acres required within Filing 20. 30 acres are being provided within Segment 2A. A 25-acre community park is located within a 5-minute walk, and all park amenities, including 3 shade shelters, a destination playground, dog park, basketball court, 4 pickleball courts, 2 large multi-use sports fields, and access to 2 regional trails will be within a 10-minute walk of all homes within Filing 20. Thank you for your time this evening. We kindly request that Planning Commission recommend approval of Looking Glass Segment 2A, Filing 20, sketch and preliminary plan.
All right, questions for Mr. Allen?
I do. I appreciate the work that you've done to try to knit all the trails together and the kind of like the chain of parks. So I really appreciate that design. I'm not so concerned because it looks like the residential will go in first, but there is a small piece where the residential abuts the to be commercial. And I see that there is some small measure of buffer in that area, and I wonder if you have any comments about that.
Yes, so there's a Parker Water well site, and that is, I believe, Track Q. And in the initial design, it appeared that it was the entirety of the tract, but on further investigation, it does appear that it's just an easement overlay, so there is some additional landscape area to provide along the front of those homes. And with the final plats, we intend to have a trail connection with some additional landscape going from South Chambers to the neighborhood.
Other questions? No? All right, thank you, Mr. Allen.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Julia?
If we approve this tonight, because it's a preliminary plan and a sketch plan, I think you covered it, but I'm not sure. Does it come back before us? Because they say that they'll do a final draft. Will it come back to us, or does it go straight to the city and the city council?
So after tonight, the sketch and preliminary will go to town council, and then the applicant is required to file a final plat, which by code is an administrative review by staff.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, well, thank you. As this is a public hearing, we will allow for the public to comment on this matter before us. If any of the public wishes to make a comment on this, please step to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment. Any further questions? All right, we will close the public hearing at 7:19. Commissioner discussion.
I think this meets the requirements. I think we've already done a good job of having the density located close to the commercial. And I appreciate the addition of a diversity of housing types in the town of Parker.
No, I agree. It's nice to have a duplex option kind of mixed into single-family community, especially, bordering that commercial lot. I will like to see what happens with that barrier between the lot in question and then the commercial. Perhaps when the commercial is developed, they'll be more responsible for some type of burial wall, depending on what that commercial consists of, but meets all the requirements, and thanks for presenting.
Yeah, it's consistent with master plan, so good to see that. I appreciate the additional parks and open space that you guys have provided. I think the right in, right out, with that commercial there, that'll also be accessed by that, it looks like. That could have some issues, but, certainly as far as this sketch plan, I think it's certainly in line.
Yeah, I'd like to just echo my fellow commissioners that everything looks in place. The master plan is being followed, which we always appreciate. I love this idea of having all of these different housing types for people to choose from. It's going to really help the town, I think. And good job. Thank you so much for bringing this.
I certainly concur with my fellow commissioners and want to thank Julia and the team from Dreamfinders in putting a good plan together here, moving forward. And so we have two motions on this. Does somebody want to do the first motion?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I move the planning commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass Filing 20 sketch plan.
I will second it.
It's been moved by Nick, seconded by Eric, that Planning Commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass Filing 20 sketch plan. I will call the question. Nick?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Angela?
Aye.
Aye.
Jane? Leland?
Aye.
Commissioners, aye. It's unanimous. All right, next motion.
I move the planning commission recommend town council to approve the requested Looking Glass Filing 20 preliminary plan.
I'll second.
Been moved by Eric, seconded by Leland, that Planning Commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass Filing 20 preliminary plan. Call the question again. Nick?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Angela?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Leland?
Aye.
Chair is aye. That passes unanimously. All right. And we will close that. Next item. Any items for us, Bryce?
Only a thank you for Planning Commission at the last meeting with the snowstorm with your flexibility. And then also, as importantly, a thank you to Jeff Miller for his helping the town pivot and Planning Commission pivot. Thank you.
I thought it went well, yeah, right. Brought back old memories. Anything else, Bryce?
No, sir.
All right, then do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn. Planning Commission meeting, March 28th, 2024.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Nick, seconded by Leland, that we adjourn. All right, Nick?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Angela?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Leland?
Aye.
Chair is aye. It is unanimous, and have a good night, everybody.